The ninth sign of the constellation in heaven is the sign of Capricorn. Well, according to the Greek myth, Bacchus, who's one of these Greek gods, disguised himself as a goat, plunging himself in the waters to hide himself, having the lower portion of the body had been transformed into a fish, and in this form he had become the original conception of what we call the merman. We also know that the Bacchus myth is merely a retelling of that of who? Apollo. Who was also called by the name Lat, a name that means the hidden one. Now, look at this. Revelation chapter 9, verse 11, which is the same sign, the ninth sign, is the only place in the Bible, in the book of Revelation and in the Bible, where it talks about this person called Apollo. Now, I realize this is a coincidence. There's an awful lot of coincidences. But anyway, the scripture says, and they had a king over them, which is the angel of the bottomless pit, whose name in the Hebrew tongue is Abaddon, but in the Greek tongue, his name is Apollyon or Apollo. He's also called by the name Lat, which means the hidden one. Now, we covered this in many weeks ago. You may see the familiar slide. In Babylon, the hidden one was called Saturn. Remember we covered that? Saturn was known as the hidden god or the hidden one, the god of the secret hidden mysteries. The name was pronounced Satur, and of course in Hebrew there's no vowel. So you would expect an A here, right? Satur. And the U is not really a vowel in Hebrew. But so you got the name Satur. It's the same one, the hidden one. If you add up the numerology to the letters, what do we come up with? 6, 6, 6. As we're going through, we're pointing out how many times 666 comes up. People have spent many years trying to figure out what does 666 represent. We keep showing you. Here's another incident. Now, if you're wondering what Apollyon looks like, this picture right here is probably just as good as any. I don't know if he actually looks like this, but this is about as good as any. And if you meet this guy, run. Right? I mean, if he shows up in your bedroom, go and sleep in a different room. Anyway, so this is Saturn, which is Apollyon. Now remember, we talked about deacons. Watch this. The deacons associated with Capricorn, we got a couple of them here. Remember, there's 3, but we're only talking about 2 here. The constellation Delphinus, which is this one here, it looks like a dolphin, represented the dolphin, which was the symbol for Apollo. Wow, what a coincidence. Some people say coinky dinky, right? It's a coincidence, as it was one of the chief forms by which he manifested himself to man. The constellation is usually visualized as a fish or dolphin being full of life, leaping or springing forth from out of the surface of the waters. And this is suggestive of a rising from the dead or a resurrection. Interesting. Who's the one the scripture says rises out of the bottomless pit to become the Antichrist? Apollo, the angel of the bottomless pit. But this is just a coincidence. Now here's the other one we're going to bring up. The eagle, Aquila. Originally, this eagle was the instrument of torture. Remember the 8th chapter of Revelation and the 9th chapter of Revelation have to do with the judgment. In fact, incidentally, remember when it talked about the terror, the torture of these locusts? It said men would wish, it was so bad they would wish to die, but death was from... Watch this. Originally, this eagle was an instrument of torture imposed upon the man Prometheus, and if you look in mythology, you'll find out that it actually represents Adam because he sinned and he died because of his sin. Prometheus had been chained to the rock, having received an eternal sentence of continual torture. Did you know Adam received the sentence of eternal torture in hellfire because of his sin? The great punishment came in the form of this eagle who would continually tear at the man's liver, causing him untold excruciating pain.